Wimbledon was the turning point where Alex Eala transformed from an exciting young prospect into a player who fundamentally altered how the tennis world views her. On the grass of London, she proved she could stand across the net from the sport's most formidable names, competing without a trace of fear and delivering performances that forced analysts, fans, and the tennis elite to sit up and take notice. Her remarkable campaign was headlined by a statement victory over defending champion Iga Swiatek, an achievement that instantly raised expectations surrounding the young Filipina. Now the focus shifts to the nation's capital for the Mubadala DC Open, marking the official start of the North American hardcourt season. While technically classified as a WTA 500 event, Washington feels like something far greater. It represents the ultimate test of whether her grass-court breakthrough was a fleeting moment or the opening chapter of a sustained rise toward the top. That reality brings an unexpected figure into the conversation: world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka. Sabalenka may not be competing in Washington, but she cannot afford to ignore what happens there. Hard courts have historically been her most dominant surface, and any player making a serious push toward the upper echelons of the game becomes impossible to overlook. If Eala can transfer her newfound grass confidence onto the hard courts, the balance of power within the WTA Tour could begin shifting much faster than anticipated. To understand why Washington carries such immense significance, one must look closely at the remarkable transformation Eala underwent in the weeks leading up to this moment. Before the grass swing, her season was defined by undeniable flashes of brilliant talent, yet consistency remained her biggest hurdle. Breakthrough performances often felt like isolated highlights rather than part of a steady upward trajectory. Everything began to change when she claimed a confidence-boosting WTA 125 title, proving to herself that she could handle the unique pressure of entering a draw as a heavy favorite rather than an underdog. The true strategic evolution, however, unfolded in Berlin against Elena Rybakina. Facing one of the tour's most lethal servers, Eala fell behind early, a situation that often overwhelms younger competitors. Instead of faltering, she made sharp tactical adjustments, attacking second serves with aggression and gradually wresting control of the match away from her opponent. It was a victory built on problem-solving under immense pressure, proving she was learning to outthink world-class rivals rather than just relying on shot-making. She backed that up with another impressive win over Elena Svitolina before falling in the semifinals, leaving observers talking less about the loss and more about the frighteningly high level of tennis she had reached. By the time Wimbledon arrived, Eala was ready to elevate every dimension of her game. She showed grit by fighting back after losing the opening set against Maya Joint, demonstrating a resilient mindset that had occasionally been questioned earlier in her career. Then came the defining moment on center court against Swiatek. After battling through an exhausting opening set tiebreak, Eala took total command, dictating play and securing one of the most memorable victories of her young career. It sent a clear message across the locker room that she was no longer just a promising prospect for the future. What makes Eala Surge particularly dangerous on hard courts is how she achieves her victories. For years, talent evaluators have highlighted her return of serve as a world-class weapon. Against the biggest hitters on tour, she has consistently shown an exceptional ability to neutralize raw power, absorbing pace and putting the ball back into play to force longer rallies from the very first shot. While hard courts naturally favor aggressive servers, they equally reward elite returners who can turn defense into instant offense. If she maintains her returning standards from the grass court season, she will not merely be capable of winning matches in Washington. She will become one of the most dangerous dark horses of the entire North American swing. This dynamic is precisely why Sabalenka's presence looms over the tournament despite her absence. Hard courts shape the pecking order heading into the US Open, and every breakthrough on this surface is monitored closely by the sport's established stars. Eala is no longer viewed as a talented outsider, but as a legitimate contender capable of disrupting the status quo. Adding another compelling layer to her Washington campaign is her participation in the doubles draw alongside Venus Williams. Partnering with a multi-time Grand Slam champion offers a priceless opportunity to learn from one of the greatest to ever play the game. Sharing the court with a legend provides lessons that numbers and statistics simply cannot measure, particularly when it comes to managing high-stress moments, reading match momentum, and making decisive plays under pressure. Yet the central question remains to be answered on the court. Has Eala truly crossed into a new tier of elite play that will translate seamlessly across every surface, or was her grass court run a unique combination of perfect timing, supreme confidence, and favorable conditions? Washington will offer the first concrete answers. The challenge now is maintaining this momentum week in and week out. Elite players build their reputations not on a single shining tournament, but by delivering high-level performances regardless of the venue, surface, or opponent. The draw in Washington is stacked with seasoned champions and battle-tested contenders, ensuring that every round will serve as a measuring stick. A deep run in the tournament will solidify the belief that her Wimbledon success was the beginning of a genuine ascent into the top tier of women's tennis. Even if the immediate results fall slightly short of the heightened expectations, the overall quality of her tennis, her composure in tight moments, and her execution against top-tier competition will reveal plenty about her ultimate trajectory. Meanwhile, Sabalenka's shadow will continue to hang over the narrative. Dominant champions always keep a watchful eye on emerging threats, particularly on the surfaces where major titles are decided. If Eala continues to build momentum throughout the hardcourt swing, a future showdown with the world #1 transitions from a distant fan dream into a genuinely anticipated main event matchup. Not long ago, Alex Eala was viewed simply as a bright young talent with potential. Today, she is earning something far more difficult to acquire: genuine respect from the entire locker room. That respect has not been handed to her through media hype. It was earned by defeating elite opponents, adapting under pressure, and proving she belongs on the grandest stages. Now, a fresh chapter begins. The hard courts of Washington will test every improvement she has made, every lesson she has absorbed, and every expectation that now accompanies her step onto the court. Alex Eala is no longer chasing the spotlight. She is rapidly becoming one of the players who defines it. Wimbledon was the defining moment where Alex Eala transformed from a promising young prospect into a player capable of disrupting the established tennis order. Her standout performance in London, highlighted by a stunning victory over defending champion Iga Swiatek, sent shockwaves through the WTA Tour and proved she could compete fearlessly against the sport's biggest names. Now, the focus shifts to the Mubadala DC Open in Washington, marking the start of the North American hardcourt season. While technically a WTA 500 event, it serves as the ultimate proving ground for whether her grass-court breakthrough was a fleeting moment or the beginning of a sustained rise. This dynamic brings world #1 Aryna Sabalenka into the conversation. Although Sabalenka is not competing in Washington, hard courts are her dominant surface, and she cannot ignore emerging threats. If Eala transfers her grass court momentum onto hard courts, her elite return of serve will make her one of the most dangerous dark horses leading into the US Open. Adding to the excitement, Eala is also teaming up with legend Venus Williams in doubles, offering an invaluable opportunity to absorb wisdom on managing high-pressure moments from a multi-time Grand Slam champion. The central question now is consistency. The world's best players build their reputations by delivering top-tier performances week after week, regardless of surface or opponent. Washington features a stacked draw that will test every adjustment, lesson, and expectation surrounding the young Filipina. Alex Eala is no longer an outsider chasing headlines. She has earned the respect of the entire locker room by defeating elite opponents on the biggest stages. As the hardcourt swing begins, one thing is clear: she is no longer chasing the spotlight, she is becoming one of the players.